So joining me live is Robert D'Amico, a counterterrorism expert with over 20 years experience working in the FBI and the Marines. Thank you so much, Robert, for giving us some of your time. So a lawyer for Wang and his wife is basically saying that they are safe, but not saying much more than that. What stands out to you most right now about the situation?
Well, the big thing is the FBI with the search warrant. I mean, that takes a lot. So the FBI to get involved, and there's a program that the Chinese have that really does use insiders into U.S. companies to steal intellectual property or to get into research that they're doing. And based on the letter he received, or the email he received in mid-February, which stated that he did not properly address someone who was contributing to a research thing, I think that's what you're looking at, that this research project was funded by Chinese. They have a program, 1,000 Talents, that really takes advantage of the Chinese nationals that are in our companies and our institutions. And that's probably why this came out. And I'm sure that the university was served with maybe a sealed search warrant or brought in to get access to his systems, maybe even his computer on a covert type of search warrant. So the university was tracking it because it got progressive in that at first he was kind of suspended and then he was terminated. And the fact that he had already lined up employment in Singapore starting in June 2025 is also a red flag that he may have known that they were onto him.
Well, yeah, and something that you pointed out right away there. I mean, the fact that the FBI searched his home, his homes, and he was suddenly dismissed from the university there. Of course, here in the U.S., you're innocent until proven guilty. But based on your history with the FBI, what does that tell you?
Well, actually, that's a very good point, because I had a very good friend of mine that actually one of the most patriotic persons I've ever worked with, I believe, was falsely accused and had the same thing. A search warrant was issued. The case was opened by CID, and then the FBI took over. And eventually she was proven innocent, but had to go through all this. So I think it's really important that you have to go through due process. I think it's part of the U.S. Constitution that's always what you want. So I don't know how much information the university received, but you always have to be careful. You always have to use due process, because sometimes something appears one way and it's just not. When they get into the search warrant and they really look, it could have been something else. So I would say be careful because you don't want an innocent person, like I know, getting to the point where they're being labeled as something that they're actually not.
Well, my last question for you, I mean, he is really considered one of the top researchers when it comes to the field of privacy, data security, biometric privacy. There's a professor at Johns Hopkins who says that he's now worried that cases like this could make young engineers, specifically from China, potentially think twice about studying here in America. Do you agree?
I do, but it is so prominent that that's how the Chinese are getting our intellectual property and our top research. So on one hand, you don't want to falsely do that, and you don't want to lose some of the top talent. But you do also have to be very careful, because that is their MO. The modus operandi is how they do that, because the Chinese people that come over here have family back there, and that's how they leverage them. Threats to the family that are still back in mainland China. And it's tough to do that when your family may be at risk.
Yeah, you bring up very valid points there. Rob D'Amico, thank you so much, as always.
Thank you.